Hi, Harry. Today we're getting to know our first little helper for working with arrays. It's called forEach. Imagine you have a to-do list, and you want to go through each task one by one. Maybe check it off or just read what it says.
ForEach sounds like for each one. So does it do something with every element in the array?
Exactly. Think of forEach as a very polite and attentive worker who takes each item from our magical bag, the array, one by one and hands it to us, and we can tell them what to do with that item.
So it's like walking through the cars of a train array and being introduced to each passenger?
Great comparison. forEach moves through every car of our train and introduces us to each passenger in order. We might ask it to say the passenger's name, or check if they brought their luggage or documents.
And how do we tell this helper what to do with each element?
We give them a special instruction, like a mini recipe. This recipe is a function that describes what to do with each item from the bag. forEach takes a recipe and applies it to each item one by one.
Can you give me an example?
Of course. Imagine we have a box of fruit names: apple, banana, orange. We say to our helper forEach, for every fruit in the box, please say, I love this fruit. So the helper takes apple and says, I love this fruit. Then takes banana and says again, and finally, orange. Same words, different fruit each time.
Got it. So forEach goes through all the elements and performs the same action for each one.
Exactly. We can ask it to do anything. Display something on the screen, send a message, check a value. Though with forEach, we don't usually try to change the items. We mostly observe or interact with them.
But what if we don't just want to look at each element? We want to do something to them and get a new bag filled with updated items.
That's when another wonderful helper enters the scene, map. It's similar to forEach because it also goes through each element in the array. But its main goal is not just interact. It transforms each element into something new and collects all the new versions into a completely new magical bag.
Map sounds like mapping. Does it take one thing and show its new mapped version?
Exactly. Imagine we have a box with numbers. 1, 2, 3. We tell the map helper, for every number in this box, multiply it by 2 and put the result in a new box. So map takes 1, doubles it, and puts 2 into the new bag. Then it takes 2, makes 4, and then 3 becomes 6. In the end, we have a completely new bag with the numbers 2, 4, and 6.
Wow. So forEach just walks through and does something, but map actually creates a new bag of changed things.
That's absolutely right. forEach is helpful when we want to perform an action for each array item without creating a new array, like displaying items on the screen. But map is essential when we want to transform every item and get a new array as a result.
It's like forEach is a tour guide who shows you each exhibit in a museum, and map is a photographer who captures each one from a specific angle and puts all the photos into a new album.
Beautiful analogy, Harry. forEach is our guide, and map is our transformer photographer. In the next part, we'll look at more examples of how these great helpers work, so we can better understand when to use each of them. Great, Harry. Now let's look at a few more examples to better understand how our helpers forEach and map work, and what the real difference is between them.
All right. I can't wait to see them in action.
Imagine we have a magical bag filled with the names of our friends. Michael, Ron, Sam. We want to greet each of them. For that, we can use our helper forEach. We tell it, for every name in the bag, please say, hello, name.
And forEach will go through the list and say, hello, Michael. Hello, Ron. Hello, Sam.
Exactly. forEach just performs the action we give it for each element. It doesn't create any new bag. It's like simply walking around to all your friends and saying hello.
Got it. Now let's use map with this same bag of names. What can we do?
Let's say we want to create a new bag where each name is written in all capital letters. We tell the map helper, for each name in the bag, please write in uppercase and place the result into a new bag.
So map will take Michael and place Michael in the new bag. Then Ron becomes Ron, and Sam becomes Sam?
Exactly. In the end, we get a brand new bag with the names Michael, Ron, Sam written in capital letters. The original bag with lowercase names stays untouched. Map always creates a new array and leaves the original one unchanged.
It's like forEach is just an observer, while Map is an artist who paints a new picture based on the old one.
Great comparison. forEach is the observer, and Map is the transformer artist.
Can we use Map for other kinds of changes, not just changing text?
Of course. Imagine we have a bag with product prices 10, 20, 30. We want to see the prices in dollars, but they're currently in another currency, and we know the exchange rates say $1 equals 2 units of our currency. We can use Map to recalculate each price. We tell Map, for each price in the bag, divide it by 2 and place the result in a new bag.
And we'll get a new bag with prices 5, 10, 15 in dollars?
Exactly. Map lets us perform any transformation on each array element and get a new array with the results. It could be multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, changing data types, anything.
And what if we use Map, but don't return a new value for an element? What ends up in the new bag?
In that case, nothing undefined will go into the new bag for those elements we didn't transform. Map always expects us to give it a new value for each element, so it can place that into the new array.
Got it. So if we use Map, we must return something for each element in order to get a meaningful new array.
Exactly. Map is a tool for creating a new array by transforming each item from the old one. And forEach is a tool for simply doing something with each item without creating a new array.
Now I really understand the difference, and when each helper comes in handy. forEach is great for doing simple things with every element, and Map is for making a brand new array based on the original one.
That's exactly right, Harry. Next, we'll explore a few more fun scenarios using forEach and Map to reinforce what we've learned and see just how helpful these little assistants can be when working with our magical bags arrays. Great, Harry. We've almost become best friends with our helpers forEach and Map. Now let's look at some real-life situations to understand when it's better to use one or the other.
Sounds good. I'm curious to know in what cases they're truly essential.
Imagine we have a list of our friends' email addresses. We want to send each of them a party invitation. In this case, forEach is perfect. We tell it, for each address in the list, please send an invitation to that email. forEach will go through the list and perform this action for every address without creating any new list.
Got it. So if we just need to do something with each item, without changing the items or making a new list, then forEach is our go-to.
Exactly. Here's another example. We have a catalog of books where each one has a title and a price in some imaginary currency. We want to make a new catalog that includes only the book titles. That's where Map is perfect. We say, for each book in the catalog, take just a title and put in a new list. Map will walk to the catalog, take each title, and create a new list with just the titles.
And what if we don't want just the title, but something like a new phrase for each book title?
Then Map is your friend again. We'll say, for each book in the catalog, take the title and turn it into a sentence, book title, and then place a new list. Map transforms each element of book object into a new element sentence and gathers them all into a new array.
So Map is perfect when we want to get a new array based on transforming the original one.
Exactly. One more example. We have a bag of numbers, and we want a new bag where each number is increased by 1. We'll use Map and say, for every number in the bag, please add 1 and place the result in the new bag.
What if we just want to add all the numbers together? Which helper should we use then?
In that case, neither forEach nor Map is a perfect solution on their own. While you could use forEach to loop through the numbers and add them to a running total, there's a more suitable helper for that, which we'll talk about soon. forEach is great for performing actions on each item, and Map is great for transforming items into a new array. But for collecting or aggregating data like calculating a total, we'll use more specialized tools.
Makes sense. So each helper is good for a specific kind of task. forEach for actions, Map for transformations and new arrays.
Exactly, Harry. Choosing between forEach and map depends on what you want to do with the items in your array, and whether you need a new array as a result. These two helpers are powerful tools in our magical array toolbox, and we'll be using them a lot.
Thanks, James. Now I know when to call forEach and when to call map. It's like choosing the right tool for hammering a nail or screwing in a bolt.
Great comparison, Harry. Using the right tool makes any job easier and more effective. Ready to discover more magical tools for working with arrays?